Hey there, in this video I'll be going over how I film case studies to convert more strangers into clients. To give you a little bit of context, my name is Will and I run BR3TON Digital, and what we do is help clients set up cold email systems that help them book 10 to 20 meetings per month. So without further ado, let's get into the video. So collecting case studies. As I said in this video, I'll be sharing why case studies matter and how you can create the perfect one. And if you stick around, I'll even give you the template that I use so you can get started recording better case studies right away. So there's really two main takeaways or key reasons to film case studies. First is you're able to provide more evidence in your claims and create catchy headlines. And the second is you actually develop sort of material and knowledge on your customers, and you're able to then use those valuable insights in your other sales and marketing efforts, whether it's your website, in your videos, in your cold emails, in your cold DMs. Like no matter what you do, you're able to build insights using case studies. So there's really two main components to filming case studies, and the first section is internal. So the first 10 to 15 minutes of the call that you schedule with your client, it serves one purpose. It's to build your value proposition and get more insights on your perfect customer. So really you're looking to ask questions that can only be known by your customer because they live it every single day. So we need to make sure we learn from those insights instead of just assume when it's time to write copy. So the goal is to use these insights in our copy and our conversations, discovery calls, anything that you do with clients to attract more clients exactly like them. In turn, this can help you tap into a new service offering that you've never thought of, or it can help you provide a better experience. Like if you're noticing that every single client is struggling with another adjacent sort of service that you don't currently offer, it's an opportunity for you to upsell future customers and that customer with something that you know they're interested in. So the point is you need to speak with your customers. Really, like most people limit their speaking to like the first of like just like the insights of their customers to the first 5 minutes of their monthly calls with their clients, which is simply just not enough information. So in terms of the actual video case study filming, the internal facing section actually helps the prospect get more comfortable with the idea that they're being recorded in a camera instead of them just hopping on the call and you saying, okay, or like maybe a little bit of small talk, but then like 3 minutes later saying, okay, let's get into filming the case study. And then they have to turn that like, switch on. This way, what we're able to do is start recording and sort of like get them forgetting about the fact that the camera's on, but promising that we're not using this for the actual video and that there'll be a clear distinction when we're switching from internal to the actual external piece of the case study. But it just helps them get a lot more comfortable. So a little bit of prep for the internal facing section. Like there's three objectives that we're trying to identify. It's what's their current situation, what is their future desired situation, and then what's preventing them from getting there, and sort of more about their specific industry. So usually this will take 10 to 15 minutes. So don't be afraid to like let the prospect continue talking, but if just make sure that they're mindful that this isn't the main part of the case study and that you're not trying to turn this into a 30-minute segment. So here are the questions you'll be asking. So starts off with what does your day-to-day look like, and then what are your goals in the next 6, 12, 36 months? What matters more than anything else to you right now? Why? And this can be personal or professional, depending on of course, the prospect, and then what are current trends you're seeing in the market, specifically in their industry. Um, what, in your opinion, is preventing you from getting you to your goal? What do you think that is? And then this is sort of a very valuable piece for anything service offering related, like what's screaming at you right now? What's priority number one? What's your second most urgent problem? What's third? So then you can build sort of data around every single prospect that you're bringing on in case studies and noticing trends and eventually being able to come out with solutions to these problems. What are you currently doing to solve these issues? For us, this can serve as pain points in our copy and our value propositions in the future. How many resources are you currently allocating to solving these issues, and what steps are you taking? This is also just to further push the point. If you had a magic wand that could make one thing make everything else seem insignificant, what would you solve, and then what software or systems are you using? What do you love and hate? This could be, again, opportunities to replace those tools if you're very familiar with, for example, Clay, and that's a service that they're trying to understand. If you're able to sort of replace that for them or facilitate that, there's a new service offering opportunity for you. So the next piece is part two. So before going into the call, I do let the prospect or the client know that like there's a initial section and the initial section is all internal. Nothing will be shared externally, and then in the second part is where we actually sort of restart and like start the introduction, and that's when that video actually goes online. So the second part of the case study is external facing. Like before starting the recording, you should review with your client what the quantifiable results of working with you. So just so you're on the same page. So this is right before you say, "Hey, we're actually going to start recording from now on," um, or this is the part that actually goes online because you'll be recording the entire time. And you can say something along the lines of, okay, we're going to switch into the case study, but before we do, is there any big benefit you've received in terms of the company making more money, direct or indirect cost savings, or new opportunities that we could dig into? If you could mention this with figures, that would be very helpful to drive more engagement. Okay, great. Let's get started. And I'll start with the intro. So, sort of in this section, as soon as you say this, what I like to do is brainstorm with the client of like, okay, so on our end, this is what we saw, and just confirming with them, okay, cool, we closed two clients after this time. What was that sort of revenue generated for you guys? So when you guys are filming the case study, you're not asking the client, hey, and what does that sort of look like in revenue? Like you're able to just get them to say upfront when you ask the question of like, hey, what sort of impact have you seen on your business after working with us? So, with that statement, you're trying to get them in the right frame of mind of what direct benefits they received through working with your company. Any benefits they do mention directly, try to delve more into it. So, get figures like if they say, yeah, like you guys increased our sales, like it's like by how much is what we're trying to get out of them. And then when they do say something with quantifiable results, you want to call it out and then ask them to re-reference it during the recording. Indirect benefits are also great, and don't force like quantifiable stuff if it's not there. But the best two things will always be revenue generated and money saved. But of course, it depends on sort of what you identify as a KPI, and like what your services KPIs are. Like if you're in paid ads, ROAS is a huge one. Not as much money saved. So just keep that in mind based on your case study. So the questions you'll be asking is, so I put in the intro here, but it's like, hey, person, prospect, it's great to have you here. Thanks for joining us today to share your experience working with our company. And then I'd actually mention the company. To kick things off, can you tell me a little bit about you and your company? And then you let them speak. And then, Kay, can you tell me a little bit about your role at the company? So a new prospect who sees this video can sort of identify right away. It's like, yeah, we're a similar company to this, and I'm in a similar role. And then what sales and marketing? This depends on sort of your industry and what you specialize in. But what X projects were you guys working on before starting to work with us? What challenges did you have? What were you trying? What were your frustrations? And then what were your drivers to develop transformation? So it's like what drove you to sort of seek us out, and then what results did you achieve while working with us? What areas of your life and career improved? And the by how much you don't have to mention in the call or in the actual recording, but ideally you already have this identified previously in the pre section. Um, why do you think they improved? What do you think the impact of working with us has been? How did it help you progress? Because really, you're able to use this as offers or hooks when you're actually doing your marketing. What benefits did this have for company? And just another way to. So, like, you might notice that some of these are pretty repetitive. Like, what results did you achieve? It's just to give the prospect a chance of, like, if they didn't answer properly or like not completely like what you guys like or what you have in mind, you're able to just dig in further. It's like, what impact did this have? What direct benefits did this have? And then like you can, if you feel like the question is already responded to well after this one, like what do you think the impact was, you can always skip what the benefits were. And then describe your experience with us. In what area did you get the most value? What do you think that is? And then how likely are you to recommend company name? And why should someone listening act right now? And then at the end, you just say, hey, like, love, like, thank you for the time. Like, appreciate them for coming on the call and giving their testimonial. And then as soon as the call is over, of course, get feedback. Like, depending on every industry, it's like things might have to change. So just ask your prospect, like, what areas can we improve on? What do you wish was different? And then asking for a headshot, because you will be putting the prospect's face on like the thumbnail of the video that you're posting. So you do want a recent and high quality picture. So make sure to ask for those two things at the end of part two. And then I did prepare a case study, and you'll be able to find this in the description section. So let me quickly open this up for you. But yeah, in the description, you'll be able to just make a copy of this document, and then you sort of have your case study template with all the questions that I just covered for you. So I'll quickly pause until this loads. I don't know why it's taking so long. So here's what the spreadsheet looks like. At the top, I just say, please make a copy because you won't be able to get access to this. Some pointers of what to do, just quick recaps before you get into the call. And then here I just wrote down sort of scripts that you can use to get into the recording. So it's like the intro, like just a little bit of small talk, just to don't forget to just like not just jump straight into the case study. And then what to say when you are starting the recording. It's like this first section is for internal purposes only, will help us get warmed up, and then I'll make a definitive change and let you know that it's time to turn on sort of the like actual case study time. And then pointers here while you're going through the questions, and then the prep, the benefits, which you can prepare and like prior to the call, which I do recommend. So then you can go into it. It's like, okay, so we did X, Y, and Z. Do you sort of confirm those, and like you're able to refresh your prospect's mind without or your client's mind without having to like dig for stats while you're on the call. So I do recommend doing it beforehand. And then the way I like to use this spreadsheet is I duplicate the master, and then I just put in the client's first and last name. So then I can answer these as we go, because we do use this later on for our copy. So as the prospect answers, you can jot down points, or you can always do it after the call. It's like, what does your day to day look like? Any sort of trends there? And then it's just because all these things are things that are like, if you're able to identify goals and like trends in the goals of your like ideal prospects, you're able to target that in your marketing in the future. So it's why like these questions are to be used um, in your marketing in the future. So, and then here I put in the stats, and then here you're able to also use this for your marketing and potential service offerings in the future. But it's just an easy way to answer. And then quick reminder to ask for these two right over here. So yeah, so that's the spreadsheet, and you can just get it. It's in the description, so feel free to just make a copy. And that's it for this video. So I hope you found it useful. I hope now you'll be able to use this template and start filming better case studies than you were prior to watching this video. And yeah, so that's it for today, and I will talk to you soon. Bye-bye.